Hey friends, last week I shared with you guys about the carnivore diet, what it is, why we're doing it, the results we're seeing as a family on this. And today I want to share with you guys the realistic day-by-day menu that we are eating from. So stay tuned, I'm going to share that with you all today. I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Home, and welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, I appreciate it. I love sharing things about being a keeper at home, a homeschool mom, doing all of these things through life to the glory of God, right? Understanding, keeping that eternal perspective in all that we do. And a big part of that, I think, and being good stewards and all of this is taking care of our health so that we can be, to the best of our ability, ready and able to go out and serve in whatever capacity the Lord puts before us. Whether it's just you at home with your husband and children, or maybe opportunities that you have, throughout this journey of life to go and do things. And I know so many of us, it's so difficult to be serving, even here in our own homes, to the best of our ability when we don't feel good, right? We're tired, we're lacking energy, we're trying to keep up with all of the things, we're trying to juggle it all. Many of us are dealing with chronic issues, autoimmune disorders, inflammation, right? We're all so inflamed. Our hormones are out of whack, right? You just go down the line of all of these things that all of us so commonly deal with, and a lot of things you probably don't even realize anymore. You get so used to just certain pains or headaches or, whatever it is, that it's kind of just the way life is and you don't really think much about it. And that's kind of where we've been at in various different ways. For myself, my husband, even with the kids, we're dealing with ADHD and things of that nature that are heavily influenced by the foods we eat, right? How we fuel ourselves is going to be the direct factor in our output, right? How our days are, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, all of the different things. And so looking at different things, I think, is very important and worthwhile, and we kind of stumbled upon the carnivore diet. I'll link the first video down below if you guys want to hear that whole story. So we've been doing this here for a month or so, and I have been amazed at the difference. Again, amazed at the difference. Every week we go through this, the more dedicated and diligent we are to stick to eating only animal and animal products has a direct impact on how we're feeling. Inflammation is going away. My hormones are resetting. I'm dropping weight. I'm feeling much more alert and awake in the morning. Neck pains and things that I normally have aren't nearly as bad as what I'm used to. I have more energy. I noticed we have our membership group here on YouTube. We're doing a super fun spring cleaning challenge over there. You guys will have to come join us if you haven't already. We've got different goals and things that we're working on and challenging ourselves with, and we have a private group for everybody over there. We're on checking in with each other each day, and on one of our challenges, get out and get moving. I'm noticing that I get out and get going, and I'm feeling so much better and have so much more energy that I am flying through my goals and exceeding them every day. I'm just starting to feel so much better. I'm noticing it in the kids, you're noticing all these different things. And of course, the more diligent you're going to stay to something, the better results that you're going to have. The few times that, we've had kids' birthdays and different things that I've gone ahead and kind of strayed off of this, and even this past week now, when you guys see this of Passover, having unleavened bread, every time I've brought in any form of plant-based product, I've noticed it. I've literally felt it, especially if it's going to be any of you got your 3 super bad guys, right? White flour, white sugar, white potato. You bring in any of your super bad guys and you're really going to feel that really, really quickly. But it's just been so amazing for me to see anytime I have veered off of this plan I'm going to give you today, I have felt it like that. And the difference was so drastic that I was like, nope, I'm staying on point here. Like, I am determined to stay on point. Number one, I'm losing weight. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more refreshed. Things aren't hurting. My PCOS and bloating has been like completely banished since doing this. And all of these differences for me are enough to say, yep, we're going to keep on for this until we get to a point and, you know, kind of see where we're at and what we want to do. But this is what we've been doing. This is what we're seeing great results with. Again, those of us who have been more dedicated to it are seeing more drastic results. We are doing this with our kids, but I believe in the benefits my children are receiving from this diet. I am not going to be super crazy Nazi about a diet for children because I think that's ridiculous. There's no point in that. So we are not bringing foods into our home in like our grocery trips that don't fit animal-based products. But if there is an opportunity where there's something there, I'm not freaking out over the kids, right? Like, we had company over, they went through Burger King and got burgers. I chose to just eat something at home so that I was sticking to the diet. Of course, I let the kids get a burger. That's totally fine. I'm not going to be a lunatic about that. Anytime that we have eaten out, I try to just pick to the best of my ability just an animal product, right? I want just the meat of this, you know anything else with it. So I've stuck to it to the best of my ability. But for the kids, I'm not going to super stress it. So yes, they are doing this all with us, but I am not being super duper crazy. The kids were craving apples. I grabbed them a bag of apples at the grocery store today so they can all have a couple apples today. It's totally fine. I'm not worried about this. But with a carnivore diet, it makes meal planning and grocery shopping so easy because you are only purchasing meat and animal products. So like eggs and dairy is up to you, right? Some people do dairy, some people do not. Leave that up to you. We have chosen to do very small amounts of dairy. So we have some, but it's very small, and we're very aware of what we're using. But meat and eggs, that has been the big one. Couple notes here I want to share with you guys. A huge part I think that helps in all of this, I think naturally you will get to this point just because you will feel so much more satisfied with carnivore diet. You're not counting calories, you're not counting macros, you're not counting anything, okay? You're eating each time until you're comfortably full and trusting your body to work it all out, okay? And so what you'll naturally begin doing is intermittent fasting. You will find that you are full. You don't need to keep eating. You don't feel, like you got the munchies at midnight because you're just starving and you're filling yourself with junk. Now, you might have some bad habits you need to break, and that's where I say going into this with a intermittent fasting schedule in mind can be so helpful. Intermittent fasting is very helpful. God provided our body many different ways to help heal itself, and fasting is one of the biggest ways that you can do that. We all naturally fast for certain periods of time anyway, so it's just being more mindful about these periods. Ideally, you would want to pick about 6 to 8 hours during the day that is your eating window. So you would say, okay, like for us, we usually eat breakfast about 10 o'clock, and then our dinner meal is usually around that 4, 5-ish area. Sometimes we get to 6, so we keep between a 6 and 8 hour eating window. And basically it just means that before 10 a.m., I don't eat anything. And then after that, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, whatever your window is going to be, stop eating is all that means. For me, I instead focus in the evening making hot teas and drinking that, so I'm not eating anything, but if I kind of want that little something, I look forward to these teas that I have every evening, and that's what I drink. But having that intermittent fasting window is really just going to boost your body's ability to do all the things it needs to do, to have that rest time, to process through, to be burning the fat that you already have stored up and allowing all of the processes to happen naturally as they were designed to do. So having a fasting window is very important in many different ways. It might be a little hard the first, few days to a week if you've totally not been doing anything like that. Once you get going, oh my goodness, you're going to feel the impact, and you can even close that gap in smaller and smaller and smaller as you get going. The other thing that's really important is the things that you're drinking. So on a carnivore diet, you only want to be drinking water, unsweetened coffee, unsweetened tea, okay? Those are the only things that you want to be drinking. No sodas, no sports drinks, all of that stuff. You're just filling yourself with sugar. That's all it is. It's disgusting. It's horrible for your body. Do yourself a favor and break the habit. For us, it's plain water, lots of sparkling water. We all drink sparkling water like it's going out of style. It's so good. For coffee, you could do butter or a cream if you want to add into it. I get a cream that I love so much. It's a pure animal cream. It has a little bit of flavoring and a tiny amount of monk fruit sugar. So there is a tiny bit in there, but we're talking very small amounts. I drink a cup of coffee and I usually don't even finish it. So I'm not terribly concerned. If I am getting anything, it's literally trace amounts. So I'm not worried about that there, but you don't want to be adding anything else to your coffee, even honey or maple syrup. You want to stay away from that because again, that's more sugar. You're spiking that insulin. The whole point of this is you want to be removing all of that out of your system and really balancing those hormones out. The other thing you can do is herbal teas, but again, just not sweetened. So I love teas. I have so many teas. I drink lots of mint tea, oolong tea, blackberry tea, hibiscus tea, rosehip tea. I mean, I could go on rooibos tea, love tea, experimenting with that. It's so great for so many different things, allergies and healing, different things. So herbal tea is a great thing to have. Hot, ice, doesn't matter. Those are good things you can have. Whenever we're talking here about these things that we make, our menu planning, you want to just be sure that as you plan this out, you can say yes to herbs and spices. You want to be using your good, especially like a pink Himalayan salt. You can use pepper, whatever spices that you like. I'm not talking things that have a bunch of filler and nasty stuff in it, but spices, herbs, knock yourself out. Say no though when it comes to sauces and dips, okay? That's the thing that you're gonna wanna watch. All of those extra, things we like covering our meats in that are again just full of sugars and just wasteless carbs. You just stay away from all of that, okay? You're going to be adding back into that inflammation in your body if you're consuming still lots of sauces and dips. So yes to herbs and spices, no to sauces and dips. So for me, this is what I do. I have my Heirs the Promise planner here, and I've got my homeschool checklist, and then we have a menu planner right here. You guys can get this on our website, print it out if you would like this. And so every day I've got a spot here for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, along with my homeschool checklist and my weekly planner and cleaning planner and all of that stuff. And so every week I sit down, I have it planned out. Tuesday is my errand day. So Tuesday I put in a Walmart pickup order and I stop by our local grocery store where I get most of our meats. So I can sit down. I haven't finished this one yet, but I have this one finished. I'll show you guys this one. So I can sit down and I can start mapping it all out. And then I usually in the evening when I'm sitting down with my husband, we've been watching through Family Affair. So we sit down and we watch an episode in the evening. I have my menu plan kind of filled out with the things I'm going to tell you guys about. And then I can just sit there and go through on my phone, tap, 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 put our order in. And then on errand day, I am good to swing by and pick that up. So these are the things that we have been eating for the past month. You might go, oh, well, that's so boring. We need more variety. Or what about this? Guys, it's simple. This whole thing is simple. The thing that's amazing about carnivore is we can look at so many different diets, so many different programs, so many different things. There's many great things. I mean, I love I feel like this is kind of taking the good things about things that I like Trim Healthy Mama, like the keto diet, like things like that. You're taking that and just really simplifying it. And so what's neat about that is when you sit down, it's a real simple amount of things to pick from. It's really easy, right? I don't have to sit here and like rack my brain and pull up a million recipes and do all of this and do all of that and who will eat what and, you know, piece it all together. It's simple. It's easy, okay? We sit down, we enjoy good food, and then that's it. I'm not spending all of my time worrying about this, fighting over this, putting it together, all of that. Simple and easy. So for us, every morning we have bacon and eggs. That easy. We have bacon and eggs. Sometimes instead of bacon, we will do like the little smoky sausages. We throw that in a couple times each week, but bacon and eggs is it. We are down to only 2 chickens. So right now we are not receiving many eggs from our chickens. Our family each morning when I make up a big cast iron skillet of scrambled eggs, we go through about 9 eggs a morning for our family of 6. So I've got to purchase eggs. Preferably, I like to get pasture-raised eggs is preferably what I like to get. I go ahead, like today in our grocery order, I went ahead and just got the organic cage-free eggs from Walmart. But ideally, I like to get the pasture-raised eggs. I get those from our Ingles market, and you're just getting, they're just really good. But get the best of what you can afford. We're on a very tight budget, and we're gonna make it this month like by the skin of our teeth because everybody's drinking too much sparkling water. It's costing us too much, so I got to work on a solution for that. But we're barely going to make our budget. Like our last week is going to be a little lean this month, but you can do it and just buy the best that you can. Okay, don't stress out and worry. That's why I say I ideally like to get pasture raised eggs. If I can't afford it, I can't afford it, and I make do with the best that I can, and that's okay. Okay, we don't need to freak out over this and like shame each other for not having, you know, the top, you know, whatever thing. So I aim for pasture raised, but we do eggs and then bacon or little smokies. Again, you want to watch your sauces. So for us, a couple of us do ketchup on our eggs. I buy either, there's a Primal Kitchen sugar-free ketchup. I have that. And then also for the kids, we get the organic Walmart brand ketchup, which has very, very little sugar in it. So it does have a tiny bit, but again, it's very, very small. And we just make sure that any sauces that are used with anything across the board, we just use as little as possible, okay? So we just try to really watch it, so there might be a little bit there for flavoring, but it's just a tiny amount. So we do that. One day a week, or one day every other week, honestly, we've been doing is Saturday for a special treat. We kind of make a yogurt and berry parfait. So I get this delicious Icelandic yogurt. It is free of all sugar or anything like that. It's just pure raw yogurt, right? You don't want anything added into it. No flavoring, no sugars, no nothing. We get that, and we get, and again, this is up to you and see what your body tolerates, but a lot of the people who talk about the carnivore diet, they do say, you know, adding a tiny bit of berries in can be helpful. So especially, you know, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. We go ahead, you know, once every other Saturday is really what we've been doing, because the kids really prefer the bacon and eggs. We will do a scoop of that yogurt with a sprinkle of berries, and we usually kind of mash it all up, mix it all together, and eat that as kind of a special treat. But again, if you want to stay away from dairy and stay away from any berries, you can do that. It's up to you. You can cook eggs a million different ways. Who doesn't want some bacon? Come on now. Or sausage or whatever else you want to add on. Whenever I make my bacon, I always save the grease and use that for other things that I'm going to share here today. For lunch each day, for us, we mainly have breakfast, like I said, about that 10 o'clock, and then usually around that 4 or 5 o'clock, we have our main meal of the day. And then in between, usually around, noon, 1 o'clock, the kids want a little something, even I want a little something. That's our lunch. So our lunch here is very small, very basic. But for lunch, we keep on hand, I buy a thing of burger patties from Walmart. You get like a dozen for just at $10. I get those and I put bacon grease on them and seasoning and cook those in our air fryer that I will tell you about. So I usually each week will buy a pack or 2 of those burger patties. I just make them all up in one big batch. We have them in a container in our fridge, and then in the afternoon, if you're like, I'm a little hungry before we eat, you can pull out a patty, heat it up in the air fryer, and have that. I will take my burger patties and put a smidge of ketchup, again, very, very small, and then I do use a single pickle slice when I eat them. There's no sugar and no carbs in pickle. Yes, it is technically a plant, but I have one. I love pickles, and eating a burger is one of those where I'm like, let me eat it and see how I feel. I'm not noticing any big changes, having that one little piece. Again, we add in little things. We're not super strict about it, but again, just making sure it's a teeny tiny amount. So I have one pickle slice with I'll usually eat a couple patties and then a pickle slice in with that. And again, a tiny little bit of ketchup. If you are using any condiments, just make sure you are using sugar-free and use a tiny amount. So think of what you usually use and then like half or a quarter of what you use. So it's just a little tiny bit maybe for flavor. The other thing we have is I buy pure beef hot dogs. So we have those that we can pull out and have just a hot dog. I sometimes will keep an all-meat chili if we want a little chili to go with the hot dog, depending on how hungry we are. But having that is an easy, after breakfast, not quite time to eat, you want a little something, there you go. There's a burger patty to heat up, a hot dog that can be heated up, and then we also just have leftovers, right? There might be some leftover steak from the day before or whatever. That's kind of that lunch range. Help yourself, those are your options. And so also, a couple kind of snack things that we keep on hand for, sometimes you don't maybe want a whole, patty and, the whole thing, but you just want a little something to eat. We keep lunch meats and sliced cheese on hand. So I know for me, I'll pull out a couple pieces of salami and put a piece of cheese in it and roll it up and snack on that. Again, I don't really need to eat something, but I just want a little something before it's time to have our meal. Hard-boiled eggs is a super win on that. So either you can buy them pre-made or just get a bunch, throw them in your Instant Pot and have some hard-boiled eggs. That's a great way to have a nutritious, carnivore approved snack there throughout your day. So for dinners, this is what we've been doing. And essentially with dinners, think of any of the foods that your family normally eats and just prepare the meat portion. That's how we kind of went about this. I said, okay, what are the things that we normally eat anyways, but we're just going to eat the meat portion. I'm not going to add anything else in. That's how we thought about it. And so things we do a lot are steak. Ideally, I would love to buy nice, juicy, expensive steaks all the time. That happens maybe once a month because we just can't afford it. So I will get, the family packs, cheaper, smaller cuts. I take them and throw them in the air fryer and cook them up. And even if I can find good deals on stuff or some stuff that it's, last day it has to be sold, I can get it for real cheap. I'll just come in and cook up a bunch and then we have it in there to snack on even. But steak is a great one. I will sometimes like the fajita strips of steak or little chunks of cut up steak for different meals. Anything that you can get out of that is of course going to be a great meal. Many different ways you can cook it. For us, it's usually just a very simple, some olive oil or butter or bacon grease, along with some Himalayan salt, some pepper, and some Montreal steak seasoning is kind of our go-to. Kind of sprinkle everything on, toss it on, throw it in there, and keeping it cooked to a temperature. I think my dog is snoring. I hear a noise back there. See, that's Betty. She's literally snoring. Throw it in there and cook it to a medium rare temperature is our go-to for that. You don't want to cook all of the good nutrition out of it and overcook it. You want to leave it in and have all of that flavor and just nutritional properties. You don't want to cook all of that out of there. So steak's a big one that we do. You could do pot roast. That's another easy one for us. We have a family of 6, so to get a big enough pot roast to really fill everybody up because you're not adding anything else to it. No veggies, no nothing else, right? Just throwing in a pot roast. For us, it becomes kind of expensive because we need so much meat to feed everybody. So that's not one we do very often, but you very well could. Even to have a snack or lunch meat, have some pot roast in there. That's a great way to do it, especially if you can get it on sale. Chicken in many different ways. You can do chicken thighs are great. They have a great fat content. You want that in your body. You want your body to be able to process that. We love to get just drumsticks and I season them and put them in the air fryer. We'll eat them for dinner, or honestly, we a lot of times will just have them in the fridge, that kind of like with the hamburger patties that the kids can pull and snack on. Our kids love eating chicken legs, and so having that in the fridge that they can pop out and, you know, put in the air fryer and heat up themselves and eat. They eat chicken legs all the time, and you want the skin, you want all of the stuff, right? As many parts that you can eat, you want to do that. There's so much, you know, just great nutritional content in all of that, minerals and things that you need in your body. So you do that. We also will just I'll get like chicken tenderloins and, you know, cook those up. I'll soak them in a sugar-free dressing and then throw them on the grill. However you like cooking your chicken, right? You definitely can mix that up. Just make sure that you're not only eating lean meat. You want good fatty meat. So some lean meat is perfectly fine. That's great. But don't only be eating lean meat. You want a lot of good fatty meat. When you are eating your leaner meats, you know, add butter, add the bacon grease, add the things that are going to help give you that fuel. So chicken in many different ways. Of course, there's ground beef. I love getting the organic ground beef is what I get. For us, we season it like you're making tacos, and we'll just do a bowl of ground beef and we'll add cilantro and a tiny bit of cheese, a tiny bit of sour cream, and have a taco bowl just minus any of the veggies or chips or tortillas or anything of that nature. We do taco bowls a lot. That's one. I'm from Southern California, so any way that I can have a taco, burrito, enchilada flavored, fajita flavored, anything, like, I'm all for it. I will sit there and eat the meat that's flavored like those things any day of the week. So we do ground beef a lot. I'll get the regular ground beef. My husband will make these like massive patties for himself. So it's almost like a double burger patty or whatever. And he'll just cook those in a pan and season it with a tiny bit of A1 sauce. He'll salt and pepper and then just a tiny little bit of A1. Again, you don't want the sugar and the stuff that comes with that. So just a little tiny bit for flavor. And he'll make himself just a big meat patty and eat that if, you know, he's just wanting a little something extra. Other things that we'll get pork tenderloin. Again, just look at, if you're getting one that is pre-seasoned, look at the ingredients and what they're seasoning it with. You don't want anything that's adding sugar or anything else like that to it. We also will make taco soup. That's where I'll take a package of either chicken tenderloins, or we'll do it with cuts of beef or even ground beef, taco seasoning, and then chicken broth, and cook that up in the Instant Pot. I throw it all in there, and then we'll add sometimes half a block of cream cheese to it at the end just to make it a little creamy. Top it with some cilantro and maybe a smidge of cheese or sour cream, but usually with the cream cheese in it, you don't need that. So on the days when it's been a little bit colder and we want a soup, we've had a day where everybody was sick, so we wanted a soup. We kind of did that where we just made some taco soup and had that to enjoy instead of, you know, making something else. So those are all real easy ones. That's been what we've really stuck to as far as, you know, various different versions of steak, pot roast, various different versions of chicken, ground beef, usually in a taco seasoned form, sometimes in just a patty form, pork tenderloins, and then our either beef or chicken taco soup if you're wanting more of a brothy soup. That's what we've been eating. And so I don't know if it would be helpful if you guys would like to see our recipes, if you would like to see more on this. I'm not trying to drive everybody crazy about carnivore, but at the same time, we are seeing such like drastic improvement. I'm getting messages from so many of you who have started it since I started talking about it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe the difference I felt. And I'm like, I know, that's what's so crazy. Ideally, we want to get to the point where we are including in like organ meats. Liver is amazing. It's like a super house of nutrients. We never grew up eating any of that stuff. And so we're kind of working our way there. You can get capsules and things like that. They're kind of expensive. And so it's one of those like, I would like to get to the point where we're including more of that stuff. I know everybody always talks about how great heart is. Our local store does have beef heart. They say it's like the best steak you've ever had. So those are some of those things that we're like, okay, like that's on our list to get to, but this is our easy go-to. These are the main things that you're going to see here on my list week in and week out that we are making. It's simple, it's easy. We're taking the foods that I already know our family likes and we're only making the meat portion. So every day our focus is on, I ask this question of myself and I ask it of the kids whenever they ask for something. I say, does it come from an animal? If it's animal or animal byproduct, we can eat it. If not, we're gonna just step away for now. For desserts, yes, you can even have dessert. We have found this recipe for a cheesecake filling that is carnivore friendly. It is delicious. It's cream cheese, sour cream, heavy whipping cream, a splash of vanilla. I put a splash of lemon juice in it, and then just a sprinkle, right? Just a spoonful of monk fruit sweetener, monk fruit sugar in there. And you whip it all up and get it mixed all together, put it in the fridge, and then you can top it with unsweetened whipped cream. And it is delicious. Literally a spoonful of it topped with whipped cream is super rich. It's all you need. And for us, our whole family, it's one of those like after dinner, you just want that little something sweet. That's what we go to. It is so good. I have a little old Pyrex container that we make maybe 3 times a week. I'll make it and put it in there. And we have that. Making whipped cream is the easiest thing on earth. If you want to put a tiny bit of monk fruit sweetener in it to sweeten it, again, I'm talking tiny sprinkle. When I say tiny, I mean tiny. So you can put a little bit in if you want and do that. We also, you can usually find 0 sugar whipped creams in your store. I usually get a can just so on those days when I don't want to sit there and make whipped cream, I have one in there. If you're buying 0 sugar products, I guarantee you they're putting it in there somehow. So like the one we purchased, it technically has sucralose in it, which isn't great. It's very, very small trace amounts. It's not a ton. So for us, I still go ahead and get it. I know it has a tiny, tiny bit in there, but it's not like we're eating tons and tons of it. So I kind of still put a little bit in. Honestly, it outweighs the having to sit there and make whipped cream every single time we want it. So I do go ahead and do that, but that's up to you and your decisions that you want to make. There's nothing good about sucralose. So it's not that I want to be consuming it, but it was kind of one of those, for now, I'll go ahead and do it. But we make this cheesecake filling, making whipped cream with, no sugar, maybe just a little bit of monk fruit sweetener. Is a really easy way. Sometimes even just having some fresh whipped cream, like you don't even need anything else to go with it, is delicious. Sometimes we'll even, if we have some leftover berries from our Saturday treat, I'll do a few berries with some whipped cream on top. That is a delicious treat if you're looking for just a little something to have. But it's important that we tackle, most of us were addicted to sugar and carbs because they truly are addictive. And so you have to work through breaking that. Guys, I have been craving salt and vinegar chips like you don't even know. I did totally fine like the first 3 weeks. And then this past couple weeks, I am like frothing at the mouth thinking of it. It's awful. Like I've never had a drug or alcohol problem in my life, but these salt and vinegar chips are gonna be the death of me. I swear I'm dreaming of them. It's crazy. Like this is bad. I've got to stop. I've got to stop. I've been clean. I have not eaten them, but I want to so bad. It's awful. So these are the things that we have been eating though that have been fantastic. We've just stuck with this and do some combination thereof. Like I said, I grocery shop once a week. I just write my menu out in my planner, go pick it up on errand day, and these are the things we eat. Breakfast we know, lunch we've got it, there's our dinner, and then even a little bit of a sweet treat. I showed you guys what we're drinking. The only 2 things I have purchased for this diet that a lot of people probably have at least one of these, but we're late to the game, is I use my Instant Pot quite regularly. I use a cast iron skillet every day for our eggs. And the only other item I actually use in our kitchen is we did purchase an air fryer. So technically it's one of the double door oven. It's a dehumidifier, a air fryer, a toaster oven, and a convection oven, like all in one. It was just under $100 at Walmart. That was our big purchase that we'd kind of been thinking about anyways. We do not use microwaves. We don't use, anything else. And so, especially with summer coming, it's so much to turn on the oven. We went ahead and got this toaster oven. I'll link it down below. We really like it, and we now are cooking everything in this air fryer toaster oven thing. I cook the bacon in it every single day, and then all of the oil, the grease collects, so I can easily save that. We'll throw the little smokies in there, we'll throw the chicken in there, we'll throw the burgers in there, the hot dogs in there, the steaks in there. Literally everything is getting thrown into this air fryer. I love it. I know we've lived under a rock. I wish we would have figured out the air fryer thing a long time ago, but it is fantastic, and especially with a family of 6, eating all of these meats and meat products, having that air fryer that I've got the 2 racks, I can just put everything in there. I mean, I have the whole family's worth of chicken or steak or whatever it is made in like one quick go-to. So if I'm not using the Instant Pot, I'm using the air fryer. Absolutely love it. The other thing I did go ahead and purchase was a canister to keep my bacon grease. So usually, I think most of us, grew up with, you had like a coffee can under the sink that you scraped it all into. But considering that I want to save this and reuse it, I put the bacon grease on the steak, bacon grease on the burgers, bacon grease on everything. It makes it taste so much better. You get that great fat. You can put some in your pan to cook your eggs. I mean, you can use it in everything. But I wanted something that would keep the bacon grease, that would strain it, so any little bits and stuff of bacon, you would keep that out and just get the grease portion. And then I kind of, to be honest, wanted something that would look pretty. I knew it was going to be sitting out on my counter. I have it sitting on top of our air fryer, and so I wanted something that I wouldn't hate having to look at. I know that's silly, but okay, I'm just being honest. So I found this on Amazon. It was super inexpensive. At first I thought, wow, this is really big. Do I need that much? Yes, I've already got a good amount in there, and I use it a lot. So having that is great. Cute little container. It's got a little coaster that it sits in, and you can pour your bacon grease straight into it. I literally pull out the air fryer tray after I'm done making breakfast in the morning, set it on there and let it kind of drip down into there. It's got the little mesh top so it strains out anything, and then a little lid that sits on top of it. I just keep it right there, and then when I'm ready to cook later in the day, I've got it right there, and I can either pour out the grease or scoop it out or whatever. But it's so nice just having those 2 things have been so helpful. Again, an air fryer with 2 racks so we can throw all our stuff in and cook it up in nice big batches has been wonderful. I'm not having to start the grill up and do the thing all the time or keep the oven running for forever. So Instant Pot I use a lot, air fryer every single day, and then having something to collect the bacon grease and then be able to easily get the bacon grease from to cook with has been fantastic. All of those things have been super helpful. I've noticed that our fridge is staying cleaner. I'm not having to do as much tossing of leftovers. I'm not finding as many things in there just rummaged through and messed up. I keep all of our meat on the bottom shelf in a just Tupperware container I had, so there's no dripping of anything anywhere. I've got baskets from the dollar store that I just keep, cheeses are in one, meats are in one, butter's in one, so it's easy to access all of this stuff. And again, we just cycle through these foods, right? As we go, I have them out and we plan them out, and hey, I'm gonna make up some burgers this afternoon, and tonight we'll have chicken legs. Okay, done deal, And at every meal, we are eating until everybody is comfortably full. We're not, and I notice that I don't feel so, just that I'm so stuffed, I feel miserable. No, you eat until you feel good. And then I have so much energy. We go out in the evening and we're walking and we're outside and we're enjoying, and we're just feeling so much better. So, very long rambly video, but these are all the things that we've been eating. If there's any specific, how-to or recipe that you guys would like, leave me a comment, let me know. Happy to do that. If you guys want to share these videos, this one and then the first one, share them with friends that you know, because I think all of us, especially, I've noticed these messages I've gotten in when you start going, hey, I'm trying to do all the things, I keep gaining weight. My hormones are crazy. My PCOS and bloating is through the roof. I feel miserable. I always feel inflamed. My back always hurts. I have no energy. I'm always tired when I wake up. You know, you start looking at all these things and all of us are going, yes, me too. So if there's something simple that you could try it for 30 days. Maybe at the end of 30 days, you want to go another 30 or another 30. It doesn't matter. You can do this indefinitely, but try it for 30 days and say, hey, only animal and animal-based products. Let's cut out all the carbs and all the sugars, detox from all of that, and allow your body a little time to reset itself, right? Your hormones to reset, your insulin to balance, right? All of these things to set. And then you can say, okay, maybe add in stuff a little at a time, one at a time, see how your body reacts, see how you feel, and then make whatever changes you need to going forward, right? You work that out between you and your body. But if there's something that is super simple, super straightforward, it's not difficult to say, hey, before I eat this, did this come from an animal? Yes? No? Okay, right, that's easy. Came from an animal, it's not covered in any extra sugar, I can eat it. Didn't come from an animal, just no, right? Just step it out. That's a real easy way that you, the husband, the kids, everybody can get on board to say, hey, this is simple, this is straightforward, I can start making these changes, and you're gonna start noticing real quick a difference. So hopefully this helped you. Share it. It might help a friend or family member as well. We appreciate you guys so much. If there's anything specific you would like to know, just leave me a comment, let me know. We'll be happy to share. Again, I'm not trying to make everybody crazy. Maybe you want to do something, that's fine, doesn't matter, it's none of my business. But if it can help, we're happy to share, because it's helping so much in our house and with loved ones that we know that are now doing it, that you kind of want to scream it from the rooftops, right? If it's helping and you're seeing that help, you go, oh my gosh, I know other people need this help. Let's just share it, and maybe it can be a blessing to someone else. So glad you guys got to stop by today. Hopefully this helps you guys as well. Can't wait to hear all y'all's feedback. I am going to head out there and make some delicious burger patties, because it is that time and we are all starving now. And I will see you all next time. Bye guys.